It was the worst moment of my life.
That was the start
Really
of
heavy.
my trauma.
You literally blew up our life.
I fell apart.
You fell apart.
I fell apart at the 1 yard line.
Yes, you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Inside Edit. I am here with my gorgeous, amazing husband, Zack Quittman. Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So I wanted to bring you on the podcast because we have a very crazy story, and some of which people know, and a very big chunk of it people don't know. And I think it's an opportunity to talk about, loving and healing and growth within a relationship. And some really hard things have occurred, and we've gotten to the other side of it. And it's a very unique story.
I agree.
And, this podcast is really about the insides, the truth, the realness. And I think, again, part of my purpose is to help people. And if a couple out there is going through a hard time, maybe they hear this episode and realize that sometimes forgiveness is the answer and
For sure.
digging deeper and all those things. So thanks for coming on and being my first guest.
Thank you for having me.
I love you.
Love you too, baby.
So just so people understand sort of who you are and what your childhood was like, because I think we both came through really crazy childhood experiences, I think it's important to start there. So tell us what happened when you were just a young baby Zack.
So, I was born here in Los Angeles. My parents were together. My father, at the age of 33, 34, was diagnosed with cancer, lymphoma, follicular lymphoma.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents really wanted to keep it from the kids in order to protect us. They felt like that was the best thing to do, so we weren't always worried and tripped out that our dad might be dying.
You were how old?
I was around 3 or 4,
Okay.
something like that.
And your sister was just born.
And my sister she's 2.5 years younger than me.
Okay.
My mom met my dad. My father adopted my older sister, had me and my little sister. And then when I was 7 and my little sister Lexi was 5-ish, 4.5, 5, our father passed away from cancer. And my mom picked me up from school one day and she's like, he's going to die. And I was like, who? And she's like, your dad. So
it's pretty crazy.
My mom took me to the hospital. My dad was hooked up with all these crazy tubes everywhere. And I mean, it was the end of the end. Yeah, my father just, told me he loved me and told me I'm the man of the house, at that point at 7 years old, which is a big task and big shoes to fill. And I just fell apart right there on the spot and couldn't handle it. I ran out of the hospital room, and that night he passed away. That was the start
Really
of my trauma.
And so you had literally no idea your dad was sick?
I had no idea at all until that day.
And was there therapy for you after this happened, or?
Yeah, there was therapy, but I just think for a 7-year-old boy to process that on that level is just very difficult. I think it's at 7 years old, you still believe in Santa, you still believe in the tooth fairy. You're so, especially for a boy, who boys develop so much slower than girls, that it was very hard to process. Other than like, my dad's not here anymore. So after my dad passed, it was such a huge feeling of like loss and emptiness inside, not having my dad around. And that was the beginning of me becoming a little monster. Yeah, I was already a little monster.
But so you were acting out, and
I was acting out. My mom went to work full time, 3 kids. My older sister would watch me a little bit. And yeah, I would meet other kids from school who didn't have a dad. Their mom was working, and we were just running around LA, taking the bus, skateboarding around, biking around, and just getting in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the bottom line.
Yeah. And so your mom didn't know what to do with you?
My mom did not know what to do with me. She was extremely worried. So at 11 years old, my mom felt like she had no other option but to send me away. And at 11 years old, I was taken to a Catholic military school, all boys Catholic military school.
That is so crazy.
If you behave during the week,
You got to go home.
you got to go home on a Friday, and
Yeah.
then Sunday you would go back. 13, I thought I was going to get to come home, and I got flown up to Washington State and got dropped off at a boys' home. And so I lived there for a year, a little over a year, came back, thought I was going to get to come home again, and came back to LA. And within a couple months, I was sent to 42 days in the wilderness in the on the Idaho-Montana ridge. Every 7 days, they give you a ration of food. It's like a tiny little like snack bag, like a Ziploc snack bag. You get one with raisins, one with deshelled sunflower seeds, and one with flour. And that's how you survive. That's your only food.
This is crazy. I wonder if these things even exist anymore.
I'm very curious.
I don't think they do. Maybe they do, but...
You start on the trip, I believe the first like 15 to 20 days, you have a wool blanket, like a thin wool blanket. And this is right out of winter. This is like springtime. So you're hiking every day. Basically, they would call it bushwhacking. So you would bushwhack through these crazy thick brush every single day.
With a thing?
No.
Just
no. What's a thing? A machete? No machete.
Okay.
So you have a bucket, like an empty coffee can bucket,
okay,
that's attached to your pack.
Okay.
And that's your water source. And you basically hike every day, like up crazy mountains with no trails. Like there's no humans. You don't see a human for this whole 42 days.
Okay.
You're lucky if you see like a plane fly by. That's the extent of like human interaction.
And so your mom had to spend one night out there with you, right?
Kind of. So at the end of the 42 days, your parents come, and I mean, it was cool. My mom obviously slept outside in a sleeping bag with me, and I was just so happy to see her, like after that much time away from her and just being in the woods
really
alone.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was rough.
Even like knowing you and obviously being married to you and knowing these stories about you, it's hard to believe that just this little guy was like sent out. It like makes me emotional that you were just like out in the world like that. Like it really makes me sad. And I know that obviously we love your mom so much, and we know she was trying to do the best she could with
100%
what she had, but it's like it still breaks my heart a little bit that you went through that. At what point did your mom get remarried?
So my mom met my stepdad when I was around 10,
Mm-hmm.
and I think married him maybe around 12, something like that.
So just to summarize, essentially, like your dad dies, your family starts to fall apart, you start getting sent away, your mom gets remarried, essentially moves on, and you're somewhat left behind. Your sister is still at home and is like, where's my brother?
For sure.
That's a lot.
My sister told me later on in life that she had so much of her own work to do.
Yeah.
Due to the fact that like she lost both the men in her life that were the most meaningful men. It was first my dad and then me, and my sister was like, hey, like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Like my dad's gone, now my brother's gone.
It's a lot.
And accepting this other male figure, my stepfather in her life is like this person that's not her blood, and that was really, really tough for her. Really tough.
And like, of course, you guys wanted your mom to be happy, but it's still like you're so young.
I didn't.
Right.
Hey, as a young boy who's like
of course,
alpha male and protective, and your father tells you you're the man of the house, the last thing you want to see is another man in your house as your mom's partner.
And what's crazy is you guys you have completely come through this as like business partners, best friends, but I still think we carry this stuff with us through our life. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this, and I want to move on to like more of our life now, is I think this chapter of your life played a factor in what came later.
Mm-hmm.
And so you came home, you were a bit rebellious, but at some point it's like, what, 18, 19, you kind of like snapped out of it. You're like...
So after that, I ended up getting sent to North American Wilderness Academy, which was in like Redding, California, Mount Shasta. And I was only there for like 2 or 3 weeks. And the owner of the the school of North American Wilderness Academy, his son was like a expert search and rescue, and there was like 100 kids that they were doing a search and rescue demonstration to try to teach us about like the outdoors. And the guy cut the wrong rope in front of 100 kids and fell to his death in front of all of us from like 90 feet.
No.
And that was my ticket home. That was when my mom was like, okay, you've had enough. It's time to come home.
That is so heavy.
So I came home, moved in with one of my best friends, and by the time I was 16, I had my own apartment. So, yeah, that's...
Dude, we both grew up in such a crazy way. Different, but same.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably why we have made it this far, I guess, in a way. But this is a crazy story. So, well, we all know you got married at some point.
Yeah, so I hooked up with my ex-wife. We went to the same high school.
Okay.
And we hooked up like when I was 18-ish and she was 20. We ended up being together for almost 19 years. When I was 26, she got pregnant with my first son. We were not married. And I thought, because I always wanted this family that I never had growing up, I thought it was important to do the right thing. So I proposed to her when my son was 6 months old. We ended up getting married. 2 years later, had my second son. Two biggest blessings ever in my life. I love those boys more than anything. They're the most special thing ever. And it was a rocky road,
and a tumultuous relationship.
It's a very, very rocky road, always in our relationship. But I was young. All I wanted was a family that I never had. So I just stuck it out and rode through, really rough times to just try to hold it together for my family.
Yeah.
But I reached a point where it wasn't healthy to stay in something that I was showing my boys wasn't healthy, and for me, kids learn from what they see, not what they hear. And I had to be the example that I wanted to teach them and show them of what they deserve in life. And that's a healthy, loving relationship like I have with you.
Thanks, baby. That's really nice of you.
It's true.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you.
So I want to sort of talk about the Woolsey Fire really quickly because I think it matters later on. So while you're going through your divorce, this fire in Malibu happens in 2018, right? Mm-hmm. And your ex-wife and the kids were still in the house that they grew up in for the most part. You were out of the house. But after that fire, your house didn't burn, but it had enough damage, right, where no one could go back to it. Is that right?
Yeah, it was crazy. So my ex-wife and I had multiple separations before the final divorce, and I just really wanted to make it work. So I would move out to try to calm things down, and then I'm like, please, let's make it work. So I would come back. That didn't work. So the final move out, I had my own place. I was only 5 minutes away from my ex-wife and the kids, and I called her that morning. I'm like, you need to get out. This is super serious. And she's like, I'm not leaving. So I drove to the house, helped her pack the house, took one of my sons, she took one of the kids, packed the cars, and we drove out of Malibu into West Hollywood where we had a place to stay.
I'm basically where we drove after the Palisades fire, but we'll get to this. This is setting it all up.
And had to sleep in a 2-bedroom house under the same roof after we were fully done for 4 months.
Yeah.
And it was tough.
But you never went back to that house, right?
No, never went back to that house.
Okay. This is an important point for later. So we met. Let's get into the good stuff. The good stuff, the hard stuff. So we met on Raya. Everyone knows this, which is hilarious. And Zack and I had a mutual friend who he'd actually asked to set us up and wouldn't.
One of my childhood friends.
Thanks a lot, Dom Dom. This is your shout out.
So one of my good childhood friends was friends with Maeve for a long time. And Maeve was actually dating one of his good friends. And when they broke up, I would always see Maeve on my buddy Dom's Instagram. So when I heard that Maeve and Dom's friend broke up, I was like, hey, link this up for me. He's like, no, I'm not getting involved. And I'm old school, an in-person, if before I was with Maeve, obviously.
With me.
With you. Before I was with you, I would
Hot in
like,
here
I'm an
again.
in-person guy, you know, like if I saw a woman, I would approach her in person. Like I'm not like the keyboard warrior. So, you know, so many of my friends were like, oh, try the dating apps, this and that. And I just never, it was not my vibe.
Yeah.
And so I went on Raya, still just not my thing, canceled the app. I had 2 weeks left on the app. And then one day she popped up, Maeve popped up. So I hit like, a week went by, I have a week left on my subscription. Woke up one morning, opened my phone, connected. So I literally sent her a message. I'm like, send me your number right now. I was like, I've had my eye on you for 2 years.
I think you dropped Dom's name, and that's what, like, I was like, okay, he's not a psychopath because at least he knows a friend. I think you added that.
I don't remember exactly, but I remember something along the lines of like, I've had my eye on you for 2 years. We have a few mutual friends. Send me your number right now. I'm taking you out tonight. And then the number pops up. And Maeve was in Cabo. You were in Cabo with your sister.
Yep.
And we spoke for like 15 hours over like 5 days or something.
My poor sister.
You neglected your sister.
I was like, sorry, Erin. And I remember saying to her, like, I don't know, like, this guy could be it.
So 15 hours, FaceTimes, phone calls, sending each other little pictures, and then came home.
I met your mom on FaceTime.
Yep.
She was like, it's really nice to meet you, but my son's never getting married again and never having another child, so don't waste your time. And he's in the background, Mom, shut up. That's not true. I changed my mind. And she's like, you did? Like, what are you talking about? Let me just mention, Zack had a vasectomy. He was done. He was like, I am never having children again. Will never get married again. And somehow, I don't know, I guess I changed that. What happened next is my part of the story. I had dated someone right before Zack who I didn't know at the time was a narcissist, but I kind of figured it out later based on the breakup behavior. But he like seriously love bombed me, and I had never experienced that before. Like it felt similar to you, whereas like you were like kind of immediately all in, and this guy before you had sort of done the same thing, and then just out of the blue like pulled the rug out from under me and was like, oh, I'm done here. And I was like, what? And I told a friend who's a therapist the story, and she's like, oh, he's a narcissist. He love bombed you. And I was like, oh, and she like explained like what that is and how they do it. And I was like, and then how they can just like turn their feelings off and move on. And I was like, oh my God, that's what happened. So when I met you, I was a little bit like, what the fuck is going on here? Because it felt very real and it felt like you meant it. But it
was genuine.
No, I know. Obviously, we know that now. But I was sort of reeling with this, like, can I trust this person after what I had just went through? And I'd also been extremely clear, like, I'm not dating for the fuck of it. I'm dating to get married, and I'm 35. I'm like really ready for that chapter of my life. And so I did this like pull away thing.
She had 1 foot in. You had 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
And you called it out. And I have so much respect for that. And it helped me so much. You were like, I think you're into this, but your behavior is like not aligning with what you like say you're ready for. And I'm not down. And I was like, oh shit, he's right. And I had this girlfriend who was a teacher at the Hoffman process. She and I had been friends for 10 years. Her parents are actually the CEOs of the process. She and her brother are teachers. And I had heard about the process a million times over the years and had stayed in therapy and was doing all the things. And I remember calling Dr. S and I was like, I am going to fuck this up. I need a fast track to like fixing myself. Do you think I should go to Hoffman? And he's like, yes. I text Marissa. I'm like, hey, I really need to get in, like stat. And she's like, it doesn't really work like that. You know, they have like a year-long waiting list. And she's like, let me see what I can do. And she texts me the next day. She goes, careful what you wish for. We have a cancellation later, right? In 10 days. Yeah. So this was like a Monday. You can check in the following Friday. And you do like 10 hours of pre-work before you go. It's like this huge online sort of like what you're going for. They ask like really thoughtful, interesting questions to really dig into what that you're going for. And so I was like, okay. So I remember saying something to you like, hey, you're right. I don't know what's up with me, but I know that like I'm going to fix it. Like, would you be down? Would you wait basically if I go do this thing? Because I really see you. This was just like a month in. I was like, I see you and I want to make this work. And I'm going to go do the work on myself.
Yeah.
And you did.
Yeah. And you did.
Were you like, what the fuck? Or were you like, this is dope?
Look, the amount of talks that we had prior leading up to that.
Yeah.
I knew with your background of like how serious you take your sobriety and your self-help and all the like deep dive work that you've done on yourself over the years.
Yeah.
That it wasn't bullshit.
Yeah.
If it was just some woman that I had just met who had never done all that work, but I knew that you're a person of like doing the work.
Yeah.
So I knew that it was real.
I have a tattooed on me. Go deeper. Like, never stop.
But it's true. And that's something that I love and respect and cherish so much about you is like you are always working on yourself to make Maeve the best version and evolve, continuous evolution, seeking better for you.
Thank you.
And I respect that so much.
It's like the best compliment ever. So,
but it's true.
Thank you. No, yeah. Thank you. So yeah, so I left and I did the process. It's a 7-day process, and I would love to do another episode to share more about it. I would love to have Marissa on as a guest to sort of explain it. But it's 7 days. It's in Napa. There's one in Connecticut if you're on the East Coast, and you hand your phone in. You have no phone for the whole time. And then at the end, they suggest you spend a weekend alone. Mm-hmm. You get your phone back and you go off and you stay at a hotel for the weekend. It was, and again, I'd love to do a deeper dive on this so we can keep talking on another episode, but the most life-changing, the most transformative thing I had done up until that point. Mm-hmm. And I feel like all of the work I had done on myself led up to that moment. And it was like the last hurdle, I guess, for sure, to like getting to the other side and getting to you. And we have a thing for like the number 11. I checked in, my room was number 11, and like the towels it was like the Mills company towels. His mom's new last name or his stepdad is Mills. And I'm like, I just felt like the like stars were aligning. Like, you are here for this, this is to get you to the other side. For sure. And we got engaged like
6 months.
6 months later, which is crazy.
I said I would never do that again.
What's so crazy is like looking back, I'm like, we barely knew each other.
100%.
I mean, when you know, for sure. And thank God we did, but damn, that was like a little bit crazy. Yeah. So we got engaged. We got out of Hoffman. We got engaged a few months later and started planning this wedding. Here comes the real tea. So we've never shared this part of our story because I just personally felt like I have to get to the other side of something before I'm like able to share it. And okay, let's just tell the story. Okay. So we're planning this wedding. We're moving towards this new chapter of our life. We had this wedding planned in Santa Barbara.
We planned a wedding.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't like being planned.
No. The wedding was planned. The date was set. And 3 weeks before the wedding, you called it off.
Correct. I did.
So I want to talk about what happened and how we got through it, obviously. And starting with another fire. We were in Maui a month before our wedding. And listen, there was things going on that I think were weighing on you to leading up to this.
Yeah, I mean,
I also want to say very candidly too, like even just our prenup was hard. Like we chose to have a prenup considering your past relationship. You felt like it was important for you. I'm a business owner. I felt like it was important for me. We agreed 100%.
You're a businesswoman.
Businesswoman, no. Whatever. We both equally agreed that this is something that we wanted to do to protect ourselves. Yeah. It's the most horrible thing to talk about as you're entering a marriage or talking about how you're going to get divorced. It's horrible. And I think it started there because
I mean, I was just traumatized from what I went through, like I went through a 6-year divorce. It was absolutely brutal. Not only was I involved in the divorce, but my family got dragged into the divorce. It was really
It was basically like worst case.
It was the worst case scenario. It was extremely traumatic. And it scarred me. You know, it was like, it was really tough.
And you didn't do a ton of work on yourself after it.
Correct.
So, in my experience, when we just like bury things, eventually they come out.
Correct.
And I think what happened, when I can't speak for you, but what I was witnessing was you just being like, everything's fine, everything's fine. Like, and I think men do this more than women do, and it's just unfortunately true. And when you don't deal with it, eventually, like, it explodes. So we went to Hawaii. Your family does an annual trip to Hawaii. And we happened to be in Maui during the Lahaina fire.
Mm-hmm.
We were 2 days into our trip when the fire broke out. And I saw like this crack in you that like I had never seen. And I think it really brought up the last fire in Malibu and how like your whole life kind of shifted after that. Your family never, you and your kids never lived under the same roof together with your wife again.
Mm-hmm.
And although this fire wasn't happening to us, I think you're extremely sensitive and empathic, and you had, you know, friends and family there who were affected by it.
For sure.
We stayed, we tried to help people. We were like going to Costco and bringing people food. We didn't want to take up the flights in case people needed to leave. And so we kind of just stayed there, and it was really bizarre, actually.
It was crazy.
I saw it. Like
I will say,
I saw you like falling apart. I was freaked the fuck out. But what do you remember like feeling? Like extreme overwhelm, right?
I mean, I was undeniably like beyond overwhelmed. And the fire was like a traumatic thing in Maui, but leading up to going to Hawaii on that trip, I was still going through, like, my divorce was over, but I was going through so much chaos still with my ex-wife, and she was not happy that I was getting remarried. So she was like doing this sabotage thing and, you know, putting this negativity on my kids about me starting this new life and this new family. And it was just like, I didn't know how to deal with the joy of getting married, but also the fear of it not working out. You know, just obviously I was in a place of fear rather than like this place of full acceptance and like happiness of, I was happy and I knew I wanted to marry you, but also I was going through this like whole fear thing of like, I can't do this again if it's going to fail. And then doing the prenup, you know, leading up to so close to the wedding. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just lost everything that I ever worked for financially going through this divorce and having to start from zero. And then now I'm negotiating a prenup, and it just, everything was just piling up on me. And it was so overwhelming and so triggering of like, it was fear. It was fear. It wasn't you at all.
Right.
It was just the circumstances of what I was going through.
So when we got home the next day, we met at our therapist's office. I knew something was very wrong. I remember calling one of my friends and being like, I have cold feet. I'm freaked out. Something is definitely wrong here. And we walked into Dr. S's office and you broke up with me. You called off our wedding.
I did.
I was on the cover of a bridal magazine. I was like literally living Carrie Bradshaw's life. You probably don't even know what I'm talking about, but the girlies out there do. And it was the worst moment of my life. It was like, I don't even know if I have the words to describe it. My sister was getting on a plane to go somewhere with her husband, and I texted her because I think she knew, like, you know, something wasn't good. And I texted her and I was like, I need you now. Like something like, I need you here now. And I mean, she didn't even think twice. She went up to like a ticket counter or got on her phone. She was in the airport going somewhere else and booked a flight to LA with like her carry-on where she was headed with her husband, like a tennis tournament or something. She was like early pregnant with baby Clara and just showed up for me that night. I didn't hear from you for 3 days. Oof, it was the worst.
It was rough.
my sister and I started to like unravel the wedding. We called Mindy Weiss, our wedding planner. We told her what happened. She was like, not my first rodeo. Like, no worries, I've got it. She started to try to get us out of whatever she could get us out of financially. And then on the third day, you started calling. And
well, not downplaying or saying what I did was right in any way, but it wasn't you. You know, like,
well, I was going to get to that.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is, because people are going to say, like, how the fuck did you take him back? Like, why would you take him back? Whatever. Let me just say that we had never had a fight in our life. We had barely had any disagreements. At this point,
we were together for a year, and we had never even had an argument. Like, there was never
even
everything. It was like, it was almost like you had to like slap yourself in the face to be like, is this real? Because I was coming out of this young, immature, unhealthy relationship that was so dysfunctional, and then into this situation where I have this person, you, that unconditionally loves me, isn't mean to me, doesn't say nasty things to me, treats me like a king, and there was never a fight. There was never a fight. There was never an argument, and I was like, wait, is this real? Like, is she fronting? Like, is she waiting till we get married, and then all of a sudden she's gonna be like, fuck you? You know, like, I didn't know. It was just, I never had anything like that. You know, it was so healthy and so supportive and so loving, but yet I was going through so much of my own triggers and trauma from what I already went through that I just melted. I melted down.
You literally blew up our life.
I fell apart.
You fell apart.
I fell apart at the 1 yard line.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just say to the people who are like, how did you take him back? This is like the best man ever. And I knew, because of all the work I've done on myself, that what was going on really had nothing to do with me. I was somehow able, although like completely crushed, I did not leave my house for months aside from needing to go to work. I was so unwell because I was so hurt. Like, I just couldn't believe that you were capable of like doing that to me and my family, our families, but mostly my family. And yet I knew that it had nothing to do with me. Mm-hmm. I knew that this was your trauma that you had not dealt with, that essentially erupted and sabotaged. Like, now it was your turn to sabotage.
Yeah.
Just in a more 1 yard line kind of way. Mm-hmm. And so 3 days in, you had a moment of clarity and realized what you fucking did and started calling.
Yep.
And I was not down.
No.
No.
She was not down.
And you were like begging me to go forward with the wedding. And I just felt like this is no way to start a marriage. And I felt like I believed in you that you could work through this, but I needed to see it before I could make such a huge choice for my life. Mm-hmm. And for my parents to feel like, okay, we're putting our daughter, like, we need to know that this guy is going to do the work. Mm-hmm. And not just say he's going to do the work, get what he wants, get this wedding to happen, and kind of like brush it under the rug. And I think that's what had happened in your life, is you would like brush things under the rug for so long. I was like, no, mm-hmm. like, you either need to do the work now or sayonara.
Yeah.
And you chose to do the work.
I did the work. I went to Insight.
So Dr. S said to you, well, let me also just say that private conversations that I was having on my end with my family was basically like, Maeve, we love him. We support you no matter what. We will be there in Santa Barbara at your wedding if that's what you want. But I don't think we're ever going to feel like, woohoo, mm-hmm. you know, and that was not a feeling I wanted my friends and family to have.
Understandably.
Even Dr. S was like, he was marrying us, and he was just like, I don't know if I can do that mm-hmm. in this case. And so we unraveled the wedding, sent out an email, canceled it, asked people to respond to my sister. Like, I just was like, My sister was like my little shield.
You were on DND.
I was on DND.
Yeah.
I was really not well.
Yeah, 100%.
And you...
Rightfully so.
You picked up the tab
Yeah.
of the canceled wedding.
I did.
Because a lot of it was not cancelable.
And it wasn't cheap.
Well,
talk about a learning lesson on many levels.
True. So the next couple of months were dark, but also like a lot of healing. Mm-hmm. So Dr. S had said to you, hey, Zach, guess what? There's an Insight 1 next week. I think you should go. And you were like, I don't know what that is, but I'll do anything. Right? And you were like, I'll go.
Sure.
Whatever I got to do to get this girl back, I'm going to do. Also, I moved all your stuff out of the house at that point.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
100%.
So what happened for you at Insight, like 1 and 2, if you could like summarize the 2 experiences, because you did them back to back pretty much.
For those of you that don't know what Insight is, it's a program that basically would benefit anyone. It's really about teaching you where your traumas come from, and that like those traumas really we all have, just in different, everyone's been hurt in a different way, but really like we can't allow our past to determine our future or our present. And the biggest thing is that like everything happens for us, not to us. If you continue to just like dwell on the past, it's easy to be like, oh, this happened to me at this age. Like, I'm going to use that as an excuse to just be depressed my whole life, or I'm going to use that as an excuse to use drugs the rest of my life, or alcohol, whatever it may be. You're just creating like a crutch for yourself and an excuse. But I learned to not allow fear to determine my future. And fear was like my driving force of why I did what I did, because my family was broken as a child, and then my family was broken as an adult. And I had so much fear going into this marriage of like, well, what if this doesn't work out? And like, I can't go through this again. And financially, I can't go through another divorce and lose my money. And, like there was all these...
I didn't want your money, motherfucker. I got my own.
I know. But
also, that was the whole point of the prenup. I was like, the whole point of the prenup, bro. So you made a choice to move. We made a choice. We made a choice together to move forward. And it was not an easy path.
No.
And I think...
But just how you did Hoffman...
It was your turn.
It was my turn.
To do the digging.
You did the digging first. I did the digging second. I did Insight 1. A month later, did Insight 2.
Couples therapy with Dr.
Couples
S.
therapy. But Insight 2 was like a huge, like shift and perspective change for me, and really, really helped me tremendously.
So this was obviously like a really tough time for us. But because we had never really had a fight, like we said earlier, this was like, okay, if we can get through this, we could probably get through anything.
Yep.
Which we now know is true now that our house is burned to the ground. But I remember Dr. S saying to me, like, most people would not have done what you were able to do.
For sure.
And I don't say that to like toot my own horn or whatever, but I think...
But I agree.
Thank you.
100%.
I mean, it's not like a love is blind kind of, like, it wasn't like a naive choice. It was like I really believed that, you had been through so much and just needed to do the work. And I know that the work works. And I just knew if you found the willingness to do it, that you could get to the other side, I guess. Yeah. So we slowly built it back. And I guess like how many more months later, like 5 months later, we were able to move forward and we moved into the Palisades together. And those couple of months were definitely like therapy, like me by myself. You were doing therapy by yourself plus couples. And I feel like you were so good at giving me the space to cry and grieve. And you never like asked me to stop crying. And you were there and you hugged me and you loved me. And when I told you I needed space and I needed you to leave, you would leave. And when I told you I needed you there, you would be there. And that was pretty much like the best we could do. And I think that's how we got through it.
100%.
So our next chapter was really about moving forward. Both of us one of our bigger fights was about where to live. So stupid now that I think about it. And you didn't want to leave your house in Malibu. Home, I think.
And if we didn't leave my house in Malibu, we
Don't
wouldn't
say
have
it.
burned
Don't
down.
say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. But I think like home meant so much to you. Like your own space meant a lot to you because you didn't have one as a child. Then you lost your home in your divorce. Your kids, you never all lived together again. And then you had this new home and you were like, I have to have this home. And that was
Home is
like
very important for me.
and it wasn't the place for us. And then that was like a fight for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we both got rid of our houses and we moved together to the Palisades.
Yep.
And Palisades, funny enough, was not really what we were thinking about doing. We were trying to stay in Venice and just couldn't find something. And we walked into this house in the Palisades and we were like, what the fuck? Like, what's the catch? And it's like the dream place, right? It's like the American dream, the most beautiful town, like gotta be top 10 most beautiful towns on earth. And I think I just felt like new energy, new vibe. It was the perfect compromise. Your kids were close. I was able to get to work within like 30 minutes. And it was just like the perfect place for us. So we obviously have a weird thing about fire. We need to change our fire energy.
I'm done with the fire karma. Between the Malibu, Lahaina, and Palisades, my fire karma is behind me.
I think so. So, we were living in our dream home. I woke up every single day and said to Zack, like, I am so grateful to live here. Like, I cannot believe we get to live here.
And she's not lying. There's no bullshit within that statement. Every day you would wake up and look at me and I am so grateful, babe. I love our home. I'm so grateful for this place. Like literally every day.
Yeah. So that morning neither of us were home, and I've talked about this, a lot on social media, so I don't think we need to talk about it too long. I want to talk more about like the after of it all, but we were both not home. We had to fight to get home from different directions. You got home sooner than I did. You saved our animals, so I knew they were safe. I was trying to get home the wrong way, essentially, like right where the fire was. I couldn't get there. I left my car on the side of the road. I ran through the smoke and the traffic up Sunset. You picked me up on an e-bike that we had because it was faster and there was so much traffic he didn't want to pull his car out there.
Shout out to Super 73.
And we had like 10 minutes in our house.
Yeah.
The sky was black. Our phones were having that like emergency alert over and over and over again. Like, get out now, like do not wait. It felt like our whole street had left already. Like I felt like we were the only ones left. And the traffic was bumper to bumper. Like everyone was evacuating. And we were trying to grab stuff. And I remember looking at you and being like, are we going to die in here? Like over our stuff? Like we just got to get the fuck out of here, and it was a tough call. And the house didn't burn till the next day. So there's like a lot of like coulda, shoulda, wouldas. Like we had it all day. We could have cleared stuff out, which is something I still like grapple with. But we then left and had to run. So we were leaving the way that I had come. We went to sort of get my car where I'd left it. And once I got into my car, the LAPD was running up to our doors telling us to get out of our cars and run.
Run for your life.
Everywhere.
Both sides of Sunset fully engulfed in flames, orange flames blowing over us like crazy 80-mile-an-hour like winds, and LAPD and the fire department running down Sunset, literally telling everyone, get out of your car and run for your life. So I get out of my truck and like load you up with the animals, send you running down Sunset. You're like, we're not splitting up. And I'm like, babe, I'll meet you at the beach. Run to Sunset, go to Gladstone's. You're hysterically crying, running through orange.
No, I wasn't yet. I was holding it together until I saw you. And then I was like, it was like as soon as I saw you get your car out, I like took this like sigh of relief, like breath, and then I like had a panic attack.
Yeah. I got in a huge fight with the firefighters. The only way I was able to get out was if the fire truck moved 2 feet. So I got in a huge fight with the passenger of the fire truck. And the guy was like, get out of your car. And I'm like, no, this is all I got left. And he's like, I don't care. Get out of your car. So we got in this huge argument and the driver ends up moving 2 feet and I was able to escape.
I was on foot with our cat in a bag. Miso was in our dog was in the arms, and our new German Shepherd was on a leash, but she's so attached to him, she's trying to pull back to Zack, and I'm like trying to fucking lead her out of there, and it was just like worst case scenario. I think I say all that to say, like, not only have we had to deal with the trauma of like losing our home and losing everything, but also the trauma of like running for your life.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot describe what that feels like. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. And then those few moments, whether, I don't know, 2 minutes, 5 minutes where we were apart, I was like, this is the worst idea ever to be apart from you. But I remember the Lahaina fire and people like burning up in their cars. And I just was like, I'd rather run for, like, I think our chances are better on foot.
100%.
The next few days, like, I wish I had written things down because it was such a blur. I don't know how you felt, but I had to leave my car behind, which ended up getting totaled for the smoke damage. It didn't burn, but it was just completely smoked out. And the next few days felt like a movie. Like I was a passenger in your car, and it felt like, those like old music videos where it's like the sad girl with like the rain on the windshield. That's what I felt like. It's not funny. But I was just like, I mean, just in total shock. We got to a safe place. We ended up getting evacuated again. And then again the next night. That same
Yep.
night we evacuated twice.
Mm-hmm.
One from your mom's house, one from your sister's house. And then finally I was like, Zach, we just got to get out of here because nothing feels safe. We went out to Palm Springs and we're finally able to like sleep. I don't think we slept for the first 2 days. And yeah, I mean,
And literally got a pair of sweatpants and a sweatshirt out. Like, that's it.
yeah.
Like, no, I mean,
I
it
took
was
like my friends' company stuff, like the most replaceable stuff I owned. You took every belt you owned.
literally, I didn't bring one pair of pants, but took my belt.
Every belt.
Just so random. And yeah.
The choices were bizarre, but when you're like in that moment, no one's thinking straight, obviously.
No.
And there's things I obviously wish we both grabbed and we didn't. And we just have to accept that. And I think that what was interesting is you fell apart right away. And I was the one like holding it together.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was in this like trauma response of just like, be strong, Maeve. Like you've been through shit before. Just be strong. Hold it together. Be the rock in this for him right now.
Yep.
And then later on is when I kind of like fell apart.
For sure.
And I think, thank God for that. Like
Mm-hmm.
two people falling apart at the same time wouldn't have been easy.
No. You held me together while I fell apart. And then once I was good, then you fell apart and I held you together. It was like,
yeah, probably when I felt like you could handle it is when I finally
mm-hmm.
let it go, I guess. But what's interesting about being in a marriage, and I brought up your childhood and all the things you've been through around home stuff, is like we're a couple, we're going through the same loss, but we're walking through it with different trauma. And this means different things to both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Like the home for you meant more in a way because you didn't have one, and like you're finally in this great marriage and healthy and happy, and we have this beautiful life, and then it's just like gone.
For sure.
And I had like, I think it was the stuff part at first that was so like, I had worked so hard my whole life. I came from nothing. I built everything myself, and everything I'd ever worked for was gone. All the memories, all the pieces, the just irreplaceable
everything.
And I think what's so cool about being like in a healthy relationship is acknowledging that you're both having a different experience and holding space, I guess, for each other through that.
For sure.
What do you feel like was the main takeaway from the fire? Are we still not there yet?
No, I mean, there's obviously a huge lesson within the fire, the Palisades fire for us of losing our home is that like, I mean, look, there's certain things that just can't be replaced. All my kids' baby pictures, the items I had from my father when he passed away when I was 7, those burned. So obviously certain things are irreplaceable. I think the most important takeaway for me is just the simple fact that like, as long as you wake up, you're winning, like life curveballs happen. There's hurdles that you need to jump. It's the game of life. It's not what happens to you. It's how you play it, you know? And so I think that the perspective of, okay, we lost everything, but it's material stuff. We still have our health. We still have our animals. We still have our children. We still have our families. It's just perspective of like what to be grateful for what you have rather than what you don't have. I think that's the most important thing.
You have taught me a lot about like trying not to dwell on things. Like I'm really empathic. I'm really sensitive. I can really dwell on stuff. And you have a way of moving through things, which of course, not in a bury your head in the sand way anymore, because we know where that got us. And it's not about like not acknowledging that the hurt and the pain is there, but maybe not being so like stuck in it is something that you've taught me. I think my takeaway was really in now that it's like this far out is really like it's not the stuff. It was the home part that was hard. It's like I pray and wish that no one ever knows what it feels like to not have a home to go home to. And to not like home and nesting and all of that is just so important.
For sure.
And I don't miss the stuff. I miss like the home.
I mean, I get it.
But now we have a new home.
It's the best.
Yay. It was a really weird 6 months, but we got through it.
Yes, we did.
And I'm proud of us. And I feel like
we got through a lot.
Yeah. And I really wanted to share that with people because I think that's the beautiful thing about marriage. And when you really truly make a commitment. And the thing that pissed me off the most about your thing was like, I was like, no, I'm serious about the commitment. Like my parents are still together. Like when I say I'm marrying you, I really mean it for life. It's not like until I'm fucking over it. I don't really believe in that. I mean, I think people need to be happy. And if divorce is what you need to do, that's what you need to do. But I think I meant it when I said like, yes, you know, and now we know that we can literally get through anything. Our life has burned to the ground and we're still trucking along.
We're still here.
Still smiling.
Stronger than ever.
Period.
I mean, it's a fact.
It's true.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful. There's no one else on the planet that I would have wanted to run through fire with than you.
Same.
You kept us safe that day. I believe that I could have kept myself safe that day. Like I know that my own fight or flight, like it's crazy. You were supposed to go out of town that day. Thank God. But I know if it was up to me to get those animals out of that house, I would have done it. But I'm sure freaking glad you were there.
Me too.
I love you.
Love you, baby.
Thank you for doing this.
Of course.
Everyone be nice to Zack on the internet.
And if not, it's cool too, you know?
No.
No.
So let me know in the comments below who else you want to see on this podcast. If you have any more questions for Zack and I, send me a DM. Follow us on all of our social channels. It's all in the description. Thank you for watching. We love you. Thanks for holding space for us while we told you our story. And
if you want to see me back, holler at my wife. Let her know. It could be another special guest. Give you a little more tea.
What else? No, we have no more tea.
There's no more tea. But if you want to see me back, who knows? Maybe I'll be back.